Nguyen, the man who ended 1,000 years of domination. For nearly 1,000 years, the Vietnamese people lived under foreign rule. Rebellions rose. They fell. Then others rose again. Until the year 938. That was the year everything changed. And it changed because of one man. His name was Nguyen. Early life and the world he was born into. Nguyen was born in 898 in Duong Lam, a land known for producing strong leaders and warriors. He grew up in a time when serving foreign rulers had become normal, almost expected. But Nguyen never accepted that order. At that time, real power in Vietnam belonged to Duong Dinh Nay, a brilliant local general respected by the people. He adopted many loyal followers as his sons. Among them were two men whose paths would shape history: Nguyen and Keo Tsong Tien. Betrayal and personal vengeance. Ambition turned Keo Tsong Tien into a traitor. He murdered Duong Dinh Nay and seized power for himself. For Nguyen, this was not just politics. It was personal. Duong Dinh Nay was his mentor and his father-in-law. Nguyen did not hesitate. He marched north, defeated Keo Tsong Tien, and executed him. But the real danger was still coming. Before his death, Keo Tsong Tien had called for foreign help, and the Southern Han dynasty answered. The Southern Han invasion. After centuries of waiting, the Southern Han launched a massive naval invasion toward Vietnam. They believed this land would fall easily, just as it had so many times before. When the news reached Nguyen, he knew the truth. His army was newly assembled. It was not elite. It was not large. A direct battle at sea would mean certain defeat. So Nguyen chose another path, turning geography into a weapon. The Bac Dang River was wide, complex, and ruled by powerful tides. Most commanders saw it as dangerous. Nguyen saw opportunity. He understood the rhythm of the river. When the tide rose, the water would hide everything beneath it. When the tide fell, the riverbed would be exposed. Nguyen made a decision no enemy could imagine. He ordered thousands of large wooden stakes to be sharpened and secretly driven deep into the riverbed. They were placed with precision, in silence. Then he waited. The trap closes. When the Southern Han fleet entered the Bac Dang River, the tide was high. The surface looked calm. There was no sign of danger. Confident and careless, the enemy fleet sailed deep inland. Then the tide began to fall, slowly at first, then rapidly. Massive warships suddenly lost their ability to maneuver. Their hulls struck the hidden stakes. Wood shattered. Ships tilted. Ships sank. This was the moment Nguyen had been waiting for. He gave the order to attack. Vietnamese forces surged from both sides of the river, striking a fleet trapped in chaos. The Southern Han commander was killed. The survivors fled in panic. A victory that changed history. The year was 938. This was not just a military victory. It was a turning point in history. For the first time in centuries, Vietnam did not merely resist foreign domination. It destroyed it. Nguyen declared himself ruler of an independent state. There were no grand palaces, no vast empire, but there was something far more important: confidence, unity, the belief that Vietnam could control its own destiny. Legacy beyond the battlefield. Nguyen's victory on the Bac Dang River became more than a legend. It became a blueprint. Centuries later, the same river would be used again to defeat powerful invading forces. Nguyen did not simply win a battle. He changed how a nation saw itself and what it believed was possible. Closing. The victory of 938 did more than end a war. It ended 1,000 years of submission, and it began a new era. An era where Vietnam no longer existed to endure history, but to create its own.